I think it was a huge mistake by the organizers to allow draw offers. They asked me for feedback after the Grand Prix series I participated in, and I specifically said I'm really considering finding that email and just quoting it. I said something like it would be a very big mistake to allow draw offers. The draw offer should just be abolished. I think I wrote literally that, and still, for some reason, draw offers have been very much a thing in Moscow. John Davis gifting a sub to Double Reverse. Thank you, John Davis. Yes, I am doing commentary on Norway chess, Morten. It's gonna start next Monday. So not this Monday, but the Monday after. In 8 days from the hotel lobby at the Stavanger Hotel, where the players are playing their tournament games. I guess maybe castles? I need to start doubling my central pawns, but I'm not sure how to do it. You can't ban 3-move repetitions. Yes, Tonkan, I cannot do that. But that's not really what we're talking about either, is it? Most of the early draws that have been made in Moscow are positions that are very unclear, where both players think that there's a chance I could lose this, so let's just minimize risk and make a draw instead. I'm not trying to take away the draw as a result. I'm not trying to say that we need to do something about threefold repetitions. But what we can do something about is the people just agreeing to draws because it's convenient. And that has happened in Nepomniachtchi's games. It's happened in Hikaru's games. In Rajabov's games, most certainly. And it's so easy to fix. You just take away the draw offer and that solves it. I've heard from several people that disallowing draw offers in a knockout tournament would be wrong. Yes, and many of those people, I'm sure, Chess Bay, are participants in said tournament. Players shouldn't get a vote. I mean, I think that they should have fewer rest days. And shockingly enough, the players don't agree with that. I don't think the players necessarily gets to be a part of marketing decisions. That's just wrong. You're welcome to think that's odd, Chessbait, but I think marketing decisions should not be up to the players. The players are being paid to participate. If they do not want to play, then they are welcome not to. I mean, their voices certainly can be heard, but I think one of the problems for chess is that the players' voices have been heard a little bit too much. And it would be nice for chess if we started thinking a bit more about how to present the game to an audience, more than, oh, I'm very low on time. It's always the 20-second mark. That's always when I discover it. No exceptions. Come on, dude, castle. I dare you. I double dare you to castle right now. He didn't do it. Yeah, I believe pretty strongly about this, John Davis. I think most people know where I stand on the issue. We are about to checkmate this man. Ooh, he didn't fall for that trick. No quadrupled pawns, but we did get the checkmate. Okay, Jules just posted a 7-line chat, so I'm gonna have to read. As a spectator, chess is probably the only sport where amateur and casual players, viewers, don't get to see or know the conclusion of a game because super high level players agree to a draw with over 50 playable moves still to conclusion. Even in positions where it's a theoretical draw, it would be good to see that both players have to prove it. Humans are prone to blunders, otherwise why wouldn't people agree on a draw after equality is reached on move 12? Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Jules. One of my more controversial opinions is that top level tournaments should look into removing the option to resign. And well, let's just say I'm more willing to listen to players on that because I feel like removing the draw offer is basically non-intrusive to the players, whereas forcing them to play until they get checkmated will feel more problematic for the players, and with good reason. But I think it's something worth looking into, making sure that every game reaches its logical conclusion, either through a threefold repetition, which is going to be, you know, the least logical, but at the very least people can see, oh, he goes back and forth, and he's decided that there's nothing better to do. And if you eliminate resignations and the draw offer, then you're left with easy things to explain. I'd like to see a balance between marketing decisions and what the players want. I think driving top people out of chess, out of some overwhelming desire to make it more popular, is counterproductive. I think we are on very, very different sides of this argument, Chess Bay. Because at the moment, I don't feel like marketing decisions are pretty much being done in chess. If you don't remove the draw offer, which is, or rather, if you think removing the draw offer is so intrusive to the players, then I don't think that player necessarily deserves invites. I mean, I don't think it's such a big loss. If a player cannot play chess unless there's a possibility to offer a draw, sayonara. It's a bit rough, but I don't think we need you. At the moment, I don't think almost any marketing decisions are made. Perhaps a draw offer only being allowed after a certain number of moves would be a sensible compromise. No, Nathan. Incidentally, the username Nathan wrong. Nathan, you are wrong. Which might be literally correct as well. No, I mean, that has been done. And I just why would you put an arbitrary line after 40 moves when very often players get more time to think? I mean, sure, you can have a line at like 60, but at that stage, why not just remove it completely? If top players want to make a draw, they can do a repetition. The only thing removing the draw offer will do is removing a draw from happening when there's a lot of tension in the game and there's no way to force a draw. Because if both players really wanted the draw so bad, they would find a way that they could go back and forth without deteriorating their position. If such an opportunity does not exist, it means that you might as well play a bit for the audience. I am way behind on chat. I like to see Karu forced to play to a loss. Yeah, forked about it. It's that is a much more controversial opinion. How much would chess change if the amount of points awarded for a loss is based on how many moves you played? I don't like any kind of complicated thing like that, Jules. I think it needs to be, also from a marketing standpoint, it needs to be easy to understand. You win, you lose, or it's a draw. I think you'd see some funny play when someone wants to resign, says Nate. Yes, I think so too. But I think it's fine. I think it's nice to have the games end in checkmate. Yeah, I also agree with Bernie that I think if you're a top chess player, I mean, that's your job. You're not gonna, I mean, people forcing you to play out a game. You may not like it at first, but people adapt. That's why change is very difficult, because it's very difficult to get people to accept change. But once change happens, people adapt. The Fabiano Carlsen draw in the final round in the World Chess Championship was a disgrace for viewers, says Jules. And I agree. I think Magnus went into that last game just saying, I want to make a draw. And he had plenty of opportunity to go for the win and chose not to. And I feel like if he can construct a repetition of moves, that's okay. I mean, I will still criticize you for not having ambition in what was a massively favorable position. But yeah, I didn't like, and I said so. I very clearly stated that I thought Magnus was being a bit cowardly. Hey Bishop, you joined us at the right moment. We're having a huge discussion and I'm unable to keep up with chat. Malseth agrees that it's most viewers can't understand draw offers at high level chess. Well, I mean, even a grandmaster like myself have trouble understanding it at times. I think it's very unintrusive to remove the draw offer. But I have some way more intrusive suggestions as well. I think it's very strange to start a debate about the draw offer because it's just, it has to happen. I think it has to happen. And then there's more controversial things we're going to need to discuss. John Davis, I'm not totally on board with removing resignation, but I like the initial sound of it. I think it's something you need to talk about. And I think you shouldn't be talking about removing the draw offer. You should just do it. It's beyond crazy that the draw offer still exists. What about the notion that it's impolite if you don't resign in a clearly losing position? I mean, removing resignation, I would only do that for like televised or top level tournaments. And it would change. It would change some of the common courtesy rules. Probably the way it would change is that people would cooperate to create some kind of nice finish. And I mean, chess players are pretty geeky guys. They can find some aesthetics in losing at times. Svidler more than most people. Good afternoon, Ed. Yeah, Chess Bay, but at some point in bad positions, you only have bad moves. The thing is that top level players, I mean, in order to play out a game instead of resigning, it would only require like 5 extra minutes. Because when one player is so clearly winning that it's super easy to win, they're not going to need to have any time to think about it. And I think it would also develop some kind of common courtesy between the top level players that, I have no chance. I'm going to just play some quick moves to get to checkmate. And so will you. I think I'm not saying we're going to do it, but I'm saying if you remove resignation, I think it would change some professional courtesy unwritten rules. What is the Yasser approach, Aquila? If you wrote something, I didn't follow it. When you're losing, ask your opponents a series of questions. If they get the answers right, then good game. If they get one wrong, you're back. Wow, really? Yasser said something like that? I agree with what Chespe is saying. I agree with what Hammer is saying. John Davis currently having a rough morning, waking up to a huge chess politics discussion. There's not a lot of sports games where you actually can offer a draw, except chess. Removing it would be great, says Martin. Yes, Twitch Railbird, you're free to link. One good memory from the World Chess Championship was Magnus sacrificing his queen for a win when he could have forced a draw. Honestly, Malseth, I think in that final position, Magnus needs to sacrifice his queen for checkmate in 2 moves. Otherwise, he's going to lose. So that was just the most perfect ending to a World Championship match ever. One of the best. Because it's such a beautiful queen sacrifice. And if he hadn't planned it in advance, he would have been in trouble. People might also just let their time run out, which is worse, says Nate. Yeah, but once again, we're talking about professional courtesy. If we only do this in the top level games, then it's going to develop some kind of unwritten rules about how to deal with it. And if you let your time run out, then, you're not going to have any friends. In the media, among the other players, among the organizers, know nothing. I think it's doable because people will adapt. I can't see Magnus allowing someone to nicely checkmating him, says Peking Prawn. Yes, Magnus would be one of the most difficult challenges to make this happen. You would need to have someone convince him, and that would be a very, very difficult job to do. How do you think Magnus would handle this no resign rule? Or I think he would say, no, I'm not going to do that. And then you would have to have a very bold organizer saying, yes, you're going to do this. And also people in Magnus's team would need to kind of actually spend some energy convincing him that this is the right thing to do for chess long term. I don't believe in changing the point scoring is chess. Okay, see you around, protected passer. Have fun in church? I don't know if that's a thing. I've never gone to church myself, other than holy days. Is 3-1 plus 0 allowed by FIDE? Asks Bloby. Um, I mean, I think it's allowed for tournament play, but I don't think it solves anything. 3-1-0 scoring, soccer scoring systems are basically just, it's basically just saying that wins are most important for tiebreaks. Very often, if someone lands on the same score in 3-1-0, it means either that they have the same amount of wins or that one player has has um, has more wins than the other as a tiebreak. Yes, Ronan, I agree. Subscribe if you do not want ads. That's a very good recommendation for you, Bluffu. Seems pretty unlikely, doesn't it? Yeah. I cannot see Magnus do this without a fight, but I still believe it's the right thing to do. Hit them where it hurts. Each draw is less prize money, says the bold android. Yeah, actually, I actually did some work trying to calculate how you would financially punish people for making all draws in a tournament, and I didn't really succeed. But that is something that I am very much believe in incentives. Definitely financial incentives are the most powerful. I've been playing a lot of Civilization the last couple of days. And one of the quotes there is compound interest is the most powerful force in the world. But financial incentives also pretty powerful. John Davis gifting a sub to Bluffu. Wow, you're so lucky, dude. No more ads. Chess in general is moving in the right direction. The way the Grand Prix is structured, as well as all the Grand Chess Tour events focusing on Rapid and Blitz. Yes, I agree. I actually wrote about that a couple years ago, Chessbay. I don't know if you caught it. I think partly because of the importance of video, I think it's very likely that a lot of tournaments will move towards Rapid and Blitz, because that's the way they can monetize kind of their video, or make sure that their website has exclusive content to compete with other people doing commentary. Also, that the World Chess Championship now has less rest days and no rest days on weekend. Yeah, I like that too, Chess Bay. I dislike that they increased the number of games. I think more games is going to mean more draws. I thought 12 was very nice. I really like the fact that we had the same structure for the World Championship, like many years in a row. I think stability is crucial. So I'm not such a fan of making changes to the number of games, because it means that making another change later on in the World Championship system becomes more easy. Kind of the next guy in charge of the World Chess Federation says, well, they changed it the last time, then we can change it now. And you never know, at some point they're going to make a really bad change. Ronan first suggesting that Bluffu subscribes to get rid of the ads, and then comes in with a Twitch Prime sub. Thank you, Ronan. Making draws makes you less likely to place high in the tournament. That's a financial incentive in itself. Yes, Anur, that is very true. But basically what I'm saying is that I want to have a system where having 1 win, 2 losses, and 6 draws should pay out the same, or maybe even more, than making 9 draws. And I'm not really sure how to do that. I was doodling on my notepad like a year ago, trying to figure out if how you could structure a tournament to give these kinds of financial incentives. Too short to take any risk. 12 games. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I know Magnus has been saying the same thing. But I mean, the match between Magnus and Fabiano, it was 12 games. Apparently, Magnus thought that it was not long enough to take any risks. And he played the Sveshnikov for 6 black games. Are you kidding me? Are you going to tell us that 12 games is not enough to take any risks, and then you go ahead play the Sveshnikov for half the match? I think there's a discrepancy between what he's saying and what he's doing. Yes, Chespe, please do. Or maybe someone weaker than Aquila. Honestly, he almost beat me fair and square today. Commentary without engine is bad for beginners. We never know what's happening. Yes, Gabisi. I agree with you. I also think that when doing commentary, I have some experience with that. I think it's very important that you know what the engine is recommending. Or at the very least, that you know the engine's evaluation. Because it's important for you to be able to say, ooh, this is a pawn endgame. And Aquila is dead and lost. I'm liking this. I'm about to get a new queen. Too bad, Aquila. Chespe not really giving you the best start to that game. Is a drawish weapon nowadays, says Bloby. Yeah. I don't know if it is anymore, though. Because that knight d5 line Fabiano played was really aggressive. Aquila apologizing for his horrendous spoiling of Grand Prix results is compensating with a gift sub for curving. I'm glad you guys found a solution to that horrendous spoiling. And curving actually gets a 5-month resub. That's pretty solid. Okay, let's see how we can checkmate this man. Oh, you gave Aquila more time. Yes, that definitely makes up for being a queen down chessplay. I guess more games will always be good for the best player, and there's no doubt that Magnus is the best player. That is very true, Nargathronic. So it's also in Magnus's best interest that there are as many games as possible. Yeah, but Gabisi, GM's talking about 4 lines with miles of moves and you're lost. That is a commentating issue. That is that's not only about you needing to know what the computer is recommending, that is also the fault of the commentators not doing their job properly. I had a super interesting conversation during the Pro Chess League closing dinner together with Nick Nick Barton, Eric Hansen, Botes, and JJ. We had a table of our own at the closing dinner, and we spent our time very well. Oof. Thank God it's not Black's turn. This diagonal needs to be protected ASAP. Yes, so we were having a very interesting and frankly kind of blunt and honest conversation about chess commentary. And it really, I don't know if it's cruel to say, but I got my opinion of Eric shot through the roof during that dinner because he is very knowledgeable about this topic, and he has some really considered thoughts on the topic, and I was very happy to be able to have that discussion with him on a topic where also I am very opinionated. It's very good for you to be challenged on your opinions on a topic where you've thought a lot about, and yeah, I have much less time. Yes, I can see that now. That might be a problem for me long term. What is the conclusion about commentary? I mean, we didn't really make one conclusion. We talked about many different topics, and partly because we were so blunt, a lot of that conversation is going to have to stay between us. But it was I had a very good time. And just from a professional standpoint, I feel like it was very beneficial for me to hear some of Eric's considerations.